everyone, it's LaDon. I hope you're doing well. I wanted to share with you guys this really cool list I developed as a result of having done a workshop with a group of women who are launching their own nonprofits and others are launching their own businesses. And so after my, kind of beginning talk, one of the best conversations we had at the end of the day was, the top 5 mistakes I made in launching my nonprofit. And the list actually also applies to the for profit as well. So I thought I would share kind of the meat of that discussion with you because I thought maybe it would be helpful to some of you as well. And actually, I think we're going to turn this into a webinar series as well as some other topics as well for folks who are launching their businesses or nonprofits. But in any event, number one on my list, and this is in no particular order, no mistake is, better or outshines any other mistake. They're all kind of on par. But, again, these were the biggest mistakes I made. And I would say that it could also be classified as, mistakes that could cause your business or your nonprofit to fail. So you definitely want to avoid these. Don't do what I did. All right. So the first mistake was, oh my God, okay, subscribing to that, they sleep, we grind mentality. There is, I don't know if you guys have heard of this, but there is kind of a mentality out there amongst entrepreneurs, amongst nonprofit organization leaders that, the more you work and the less you sleep, then the more dedicated you are, or the more ambitious you are, and the better your organization will be, and the sooner you will launch. And I really, really strongly disagree with that. I will, and I disagree because I did that. I was simply a workaholic, simply a workaholic. And I would work for hours upon hours upon hours and maybe get about 4 hours of sleep and then be up again, working. And what happened over time was my body just began to break down. Sleep allows our body to kind of recharge itself, renew itself. Sleep allows our minds to kind of reset, like rebooting a computer, so to speak. So when you deprive your body of sleep, you're not allowing it to get what it needs. So eventually you will hit a wall and then you will be sick for, 2 or 3 days, absolutely, down and unable to do anything. And when you are the leader of a nonprofit organization or you are a solopreneur, when you're down, then pretty much everything is down. So it's not even in the best interest of your nonprofit or your business to adapt that type of mentality because you're never going to be able to have a sustainable organization that way. So it's really important to, get 6 or 7 or 8 hours of sleep, whatever your body needs per night. Now, sometimes it's hard because we all have those moments where we are up, and we cannot sleep because there's so much creative energy going on in our minds, and we need to write those things down. And so, of course, you work through that, you write whatever you need to write through that, and just kind of download so that you're able to get that information kind of out and on the page or, do whatever work is required. But once that time, that moment has passed, make sure that you allocate, at least several hours to sleep. It's really, really important. And, here's the other thing. When your mind has not been able to reboot itself, it really does impede your ability to be creative and come up with those new and innovative, ideas and programs and products and so forth. So sleep is really, really important. So that was one of the biggest mistakes I made. And I probably made that mistake over and over and over again for a couple of years. So don't do that. The next one I would say is, oh my gosh, measuring your success against that of other people. So many times when you're a part maybe of a network of professional leaders or you're with industry professionals and maybe you have a network or even if you have like a mentor or just a group that you kind of tap into from time to time where you're all kind of in the same industry or doing the same thing or working toward the same goals. Many times you will have a person who seems to just be a superstar and is accomplishing all these wonderful things. Or maybe there are several folks who are experiencing, a variety of mountaintop moments, and maybe you're in the valley. It's okay. Believe me, they were in the valley too. It's not just you. And as soon you can believe, as soon as that mountaintop moment is over, they will have a valley moment. And the reality is, whenever you have a valley moment, you can expect at some point you're going to have a mountaintop moment. It's totally a cycle. So, don't measure yourself against the success or even the failures of others. Everyone has their own unique journey and it has everything to do with what you are meant to learn. Sometimes, it just happens to be the way your business is designed to evolve. And every moment you spend developing your organization or your business is time well spent. You're learning lessons that will benefit you in the end. So just because someone is doing really well, don't look at that as an excuse to beat yourself up and thinking, why have I not accomplished this? And sometimes it even isn't even about measuring your success against that of others. Sometimes it's just measuring your current location on your journey to where you expect it to be, right? Sometimes the journey won't look like we think it's supposed to look. So we just have to trust that we're doing the right things. So you just have to walk that thing out and, stay mentally strong and, take a moment to look back on where you came from. That's how you really overcome those feelings of maybe inadequacy or like you're not measuring up either to what others are doing or what you expected of yourself. And I like to say sometimes you have to retreat in order to move forward. So, take a moment to retreat and then really reflect upon what you have accomplished from the beginning to date. And once you see how far you've come, you'll realize, you've done some pretty dynamic stuff. So all you have to do is stay the course. So again, don't measure yourself against others or with some preconceived notion you have around where you should be at this particular point in the development of your business or your nonprofit. Now, okay, so the next one, I think this is the third one. Be aware of cancers around you. Now, many times when we think of cancer, we think about the disease of the body and those cells that fuse together to cause tumors. I believe that while there are cancers in the body, there are cancers walking around amongst us every day, and their goal and objective is to pollute your thoughts, taint your energy, and kill your dream. So, what I like to say is you really have to learn how to tune out all that noise and really focus in on that inner voice and that inner drive you have to bring whatever dream or vision it is you have to fruition. So, learn to tune out the noise. Another thing I would add to that is just, one of the greatest battles I think for nonprofit leaders and for business leaders is to when they're launching their own businesses or they're heading their own organizations is to master your mind. It's so difficult because the process is a continuous cycle of mountaintop moments and valley moments. And so you will pretty regularly have, that those moments where you think, oh my gosh, should I give up? I can't, it's too much, I'm tired of fighting. We all have weary moments, right? And so when that happens, it's really important that we allow our spirits and we have some inner fortitude that acts as an and allows us to act as a thermostat and not a thermometer. So when we encounter those external voices of those cancers telling us, you can't do that. Oh, I thought you'd be making some money right now. Oh, you don't have any schools where you're providing programs at yet, or you only have 3 people in your workshop, or you'll have those internal thoughts where you have to kind of manage through that and fight through that. So I always say it's very important for you to have something within you that allows you to be a thermostat and not a thermometer. What does a thermometer do? A thermometer, the dial changes based upon external factors, what's happening around them, right? So you can't allow your inner core, your commitment, your dedication to bringing your vision to fruition to change simply because the people around you don't believe in your dream. You have to be a thermostat. You have to be the one who's going to set the temperature, right? So you have to say, regardless of what the temperature is outside, I want to be right here. I want to sit in this moment. I want to sit in this vision. I want to sit in this dream, and I want to bring it to fruition. And everyone else around me is just going to have to get with it or get moving. So you need to be a thermostat. You need to take control over this and this, regardless of what's happening around you. So another area happens to do with my personal, oh my gosh, it's an Achilles heel, and it is also a great benefit to me. And this has to do with being a perfectionist. So, I am a perfectionist. I've always have been. And it has served me well in a great many ways, from launching a nonprofit organization that has been designated as a quality service provider to, working with nonprofits as a consultant in a business and businesses, and being a highly sought after consultant for that work. It's, served me very well. However, one of the ways it can, definitely stymie your success is that you can become so caught up in developing a program or even developing a product or a service that you spend forever and a day developing it. So, you're constantly refining it, and you never really bring it to market because your expectation, of that it be perfect, prevents you from doing that, or it delays you from bringing that product or that service to the community or to the marketplace. So that you miss the moment, and the demand for it is no longer there. Now, I'm not saying bring anything raggedy to your client. So what I have learned is that it's really important to be aware. If you're a perfectionist, it's important to be aware of the fact that you're a perfectionist, and you have to hold yourself accountable to making sure that if it's a program or a nonprofit organization, that you have touched upon all of your sort of methodologies, all of your milestones in terms of the development. If it's a program, you want to make sure all your methodologies are in place and your evaluation processes are in place, and so on and so forth. If it's a product or service, you want to make sure that you hit all those touchstones as well. And then bring it to your client. All right, so the last mistake, now I didn't make this mistake, but I can see how people would make this mistake. And I hear it pretty often when I work with nonprofit leaders or with folks who are developing businesses they want to launch. And that is, that they allow funding or lack thereof to delay bringing their vision to fruition. Everything I have done, whether it was a business, whether it's the nonprofit, everything I did was bootstrapped. So, and I can get into, how to bootstrap, but that's a whole other long discussion. But, don't allow that to be a barrier. If you recognize there's a need for it, there are so many ways to get it funded or to bootstrap it until you're able to generate more, revenue from it to sustain your organization or to support your business. So, just don't let that be a barrier. Don't let your dream stop there. So, I hope this was helpful. I would love to hear back from you, maybe your top 3 mistakes that you made in launching your organization. And perhaps we can start a dialogue and we can all kind of learn from one another. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.